Several people have died.
Another incident of building
pictures in this report may be found disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
How do we stop it? The frequency of occurrence here is way too much. It's not because the land is swampy. It is because we cut corners.
The construction industry is a very serious business. Many of our engineers are disappearing.
The life of an average Nigerian citizen of Lagos is more important than whatever profit you want to make. But for us to understand this, we need to put so many things into consideration. Our attitude is the sole one.
We are very happy to have this event today because the topic is one that has given a lot of Nigerians serious concern. And so we cannot talk too much about building collapse and how we can stem that tide. And when I reflected over this, what I told myself is that on this subject, all have sinned and come short of the glory. Yes, indeed. Because there are different players in the industry. Those who have the authority to approve and supervise, they play a role. And then there are contractors, there are developers, they equally play roles. And you have property owners. It takes two to tango. You have 300 or thereabout property inspectors in the whole of Lagos. That's not enough. What can 300 do when you have estates sprawling all over the city of Lagos? So, again, all have sinned. So don't look at yourself as a saint here. We all are guilty, one way or the other. Of course, we are. So what we are talking about this morning is how do we stop it? So you need to keep an open mind and confess and then accept that there has to be a change of heart and change of ways. If that happens, then we will be taking something out of this conversation.
Just this July, it was reported that this year alone, we've witnessed 22 building collapses. So 22 in 7 months. And these are reported. These are ones that are noteworthy. Department of Lagos State. Maybe it has, let's just say, maybe it has 30 engineers. Even just within, I can't even say Lekki 1, even just within this our zone, the east of Ebeno and so. It's enough work for them. However, it's even worse because I know that when a building like this is brought to our office, we end up with something like maybe the equivalent of about 40, 50 drawings. So who is checking those drawings? Who can? How can they? And that is why we've said you have to collaborate with the private sector. You have to get the professionals involved.
It has to do with our attitude. Extreme attitude. Attitude in all its ramifications. Professionals, we don't supervise anymore. And when you see people on site, professionals will have 6-7 jobs. They hardly spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes on their site, leaving the remaining job for Baba Yenka, Baba Tunde. A very good example of what we are talking about. There is a construction going on in Bagada at the back of a petrol station. The guy got an approval for 5 floors, being supervised by Lagos State Building Control. Said he wants to have a flat decking with the intention that, the next stage that we are going to do is going to be the finishing stage. Behold, the guy is on the 8th floor. And these are professional supervising. To top it up, the guy went for an additional floor. Somebody that is on the 8th floor went on an additional floor, 6th floor. The foundation for 5th floor is different from foundation from 8th floor.
There's hardly any law that says that everybody caught will be prosecuted. It technically is going to be a bad law. Usually what you find is that anyone caught. So everybody might be doing the wrong thing. And it's not everybody that has to be caught. It's just one person. And when it happens, it's not part of your defense to say A is doing it or B is doing it.
You know, when you come to a room of professionals, the very fact that we are professionals introduces a sense of, you know, we know what we are doing. And we do. But the truth is, to improve on any process, you must first ask yourself what's wrong with it. And that means you must be humble and willing to accept that something can be wrong with it. We carry technological devices today like the iPhone, and I think today, if I have not lost count, we're at iPhone 16. I don't think it is because iPhone 1 was bad. But somebody sat down and said, how can we make this better? And they came with 2, and they came with 3, and today we're at 16. Because somebody continued to think, how can we improve on these processes? I think one thing that, you know, I will humbly say in a room of professionals is that we must also always continue to audit ourselves. It doesn't take away from the fact that what we know is solid, but continue to say, how can we do things better?
We need to be firm. We need to be serious. The construction industry is a very serious business. Many of our engineers are disappearing. And I also want to say, it's a shame to tell you this, but there are engineers and there are engineers. There are some who, they are just barely surviving. They're just doing it. They're not supervising. They're not putting into, because the conditions are not so. And if you aren't supervising your project, it is literally like not showing any interest at all. We seem to be so good at using the iPhone 16s, but we don't seem to want to use it in our construction industry. The construction industry is still so backward. The formwork we're talking about, the majority use bamboo. And bamboo is a local material. It's good, but it has its issues. Even us as professionals, in Nigeria, we don't always seem to know where our boundaries are and where our competencies are. I should not feel ashamed as a structural engineer to still say that this type of structure, I have not done it before. So I need to either consult somebody who has or get somebody else. I should not assume that because I got B-Eng Tech Engineering that I can do everything. It doesn't happen that way. Experience, as I'm sitting here, I am still on a day-to-day basis, I'm still learning, and I still know my limitations.